Hello, everyone. Welcome back to part three. We're on part three of Cosmic Dreaming from Head to Heart. Today is the roots of creation. So we are diving into our roots and we're going to do some healing work. We're going to do some creative work. We're going to do some dreaming work. So who's ready to dream, heal, and create with me today? Magic is afoot. It is an amazing day. So when you feel guided to, pop a hello in the chat, where you're from, and any intention. And maybe you want to hear a little bit more about what we're talking about today before you set an intention. So you don't need to do that, but I'd love to see who's here, say hello. And we're going to give a few minutes, as usual, for people to hop in. Hi, Janet from Florida. So glad you're here. Happy to have you here. These are always so exciting for me to do because I get to spend my morning opening the field and doing ceremony. And my altar behind me wanted to undergo a transformation. So the energy in here is really interesting. Hi, Bonnie from Salt Lake City, Utah. Hi, Pat from New York City. Hello, Heather from Toronto, Canada. Welcome everyone. So yeah, the energy is about transformation right now. And I don't know if you guys are feeling it, but it's pretty magical today. It's an amazing day for where we are going today. Hi, Julia from Ireland. Thanks for coming. So happy to have you here. So I'm going to open up the field. We're going to be working in black again this week. On May 20th, we start to shift and we're going to be working in the creative portal. So it's really interesting because we are creating the ground to open up our creative portal to the divine. And that's kind of what we've been doing. So we want to get into the roots today to kind of clear some space, to kind of do some healing, things that don't serve you anymore, things from your past. And we've been kind of working up to that, working in the heart, working in the will. So yeah, we're going to keep going. Is there any questions before we get going? And just pop your questions in. If not, I'll open up the ceremonial space. If you have a candle, now would be a great time to light it. If you brought sage, we're going to sage. We're going to open the field with some saging and a prayer. So I'm going to light my sage. And it's funny, the field feels a little quiet. So people are still popping in and it's only 3 past the hour. So as you're coming in, say hello, say where you're from. Welcoming you in, clearing the field right now. Awesome. So as you're clearing your space, clear it. See if you can clear it with an intention of letting go of anything you were doing before you hopped onto the call. Anything that has your attention, anything that's grabbing you. Hello, Jane from London. Welcome. Nice to have you here. So we're just clearing our mind, clearing our space. And if you join me on Wednesday, we were talking about purification. And how that's a message. And so just opening yourself and just saying a little prayer, asking Great Spirit, Great Mystery to just balm us with grace. Just allow that grace to flow all around you. and allow yourself to open to the grace of this present moment. Begin to see the generosity of this present now. May we all create from our heart, uninhibited. May we receive any insights that help us to open even more to love, even more to our creativity, even more to our divinity, and allow us to be the channel for that divine light, allowing us to receive first and opening up the gateway to focus out and create in the world. May it be so. Okay, so let's dive in. So I have a couple things to read to you this morning. So this is a quote from Robert Collier, or it's actually a little writing from Robert Collier. Life is intelligent. Life is all powerful, and life is always and everywhere seeking expression. What is more, life is never satisfied. It is constantly seeking greater and fuller expression. The moment you stop expressing more and more life, that moment starts looking around for other and better outlets. The only thing that can restrict life is the channel through which it works. The only limitation upon it is the limitation you put on it. In other words, you are not trying to get something that God doesn't want you to have. When you set out on a pathway of a full prosperity, you are simply conforming to the law of the universe's expression in and through you as prosperity. You are the opening for God, for the universe, to reach out through you into all of your life and into the lives of those around you, and to show forth divine abundance of every good and every perfect gift. That is powerful, and that is what we're talking about. And so today what we're going to do is we're going to be weaving. We're going to be weaving the idea of our power, because the last time we worked on power. We worked on our power center. And now we're going to work on grounding that power. And so in order to ground that power, we need to have space. And so because our space and our roots are cluttered from past traumas, past belief systems that don't serve our creativity, our lack, our power is contained here in our root chakra, our power to connect, our power to bring things into form. It's associated with this world, it's associated with tribal beliefs, right? Family beliefs, personal beliefs. And so we want to look at the energy of this, because our beliefs form a pattern. And so if you close your eyes and imagine a pattern, a weaving, if you will, like a three-dimensional web, or just a regular web, if you can think about that, thinking about a web and seeing yourself in the center of that web. And you are the spider, you are the weaver, and you have a pattern to work from. And so you start weaving this pattern. And the pattern was given to you, it was handed down to you through the generations, changed, altered maybe a little bit for the time, because patterns change over time, slightly, self-similar, self-similar patterns. It's a fractal. And so you're weaving this pattern, and then you come upon something that doesn't fit, that is incongruent to how you are choosing to live your life, to create your life in this reality, in this now, in this present moment. And what happens now is that pattern needs to change. And the question I have for you is, do you have the trust, the faith, the inspiration, the desire to change the pattern, the will to change the pattern? And so we want to look at what needs to change. So what you see in your life right now, everything around you, is the result of you creating from a pattern. And it's a combination, right? Because we create things from our conscious choice. We know we're choosing it, and we can shift it, right? We also create from our subconscious. That's the pattern. So what are you, this is a question, if you have your journals, what am I, asking it of yourself, what am I creating that is not suiting me? And so just take a look around your environment. You can look at the material things that are around you, or you can look at situations that you're in that you are trying to move, that you're trying to create differently, right? And from this level that we're on, how we were taught was we work harder. We work hard, we get the reward, right? That's a belief system. That's a belief. With the new energy and science or understanding, actually it's an new understanding of old truths and how to talk about it. We're ready to hear this. We're grown up enough in our consciousness and our awareness to understand that we are energy, and all matter is energy. And so when we're creating, we have to create in the energy first, the patterning. Changing a pattern is just doing something a little bit different, but not just one time. So imagine you're weaving a sweater, or you're doing a weaving and you're following a pattern. And then you decide, and maybe it's like real simple, knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one. And you're doing it for all these rows. And then you decide, I'm tired of this knit one, purl one. Ugh, so done. And then you go, I'm gonna just try maybe, and I don't know too much about knitting, but I'm gonna try maybe doing knit one, drop one, knit one, drop one, knit one, drop one, knit one, drop one. So you start to do that, and then you forget about it. And then you go back to knit one, purl one, knit one, purl one. So when you get to look at what you've knitted, you see that one or two rows where you tried to do something different, and then you went back to your old way of being, right? And that's what we constantly do. So what is it that we need to do? And I'd love for you to think about this. What is it that we need to do? Or who do we get to be? That's really the question, because it's about being. Who do we get to be to keep going? To not just do it one time and expect everything to change, but to keep on going. So I'd love for you to just take a moment and think about that. And pop in and let me know what you're thinking about this. What are your thoughts about what I'm talking about right now? How is this landing for you before I go further? I don't want to lose you. Are you on board? Let's hear your profound thoughts. And so as you're thinking about this and getting prepared to write, you're gonna lay the groundwork first for what we are going to create today. So I think I've done it in words pretty well. And if I haven't, I'd love for you to chime in. So far, you guys are all really silent. There's nothing happening in the chat. So just let me know that you're on board, just with a thumbs up, a yes, I get it. I love where you're going. Heather says, love the knitting metaphor. I feel so frustrated when I slip back into the pattern. Awesome. So what is your pattern? And you don't have to tell me, but that's what we want to look at. We're going to go into that in what we're creating, but we want to create the ground first. So the reason we've been working in black, and I don't know if I said this before, we're working on black as the ground because we're pulling things out of our shadow and we're bringing it to the light. So, and that's what's happening out in consciousness right now. Let's see, Ginger says, I create reminders to keep shifting. Awesome. Yeah, we sometimes need a strategy to do that, you know, having a chart, you know, like, you know, and every night doing that, you know, filling it out, like, what did I accomplish today? Pat says, I'm a work in progress. I definitely see some changes in myself, thanks in large part to you. Oh, thanks, Pat. That's very sweet. So actually, I'm going to reflect that back to you. It's like, maybe I've enlightened you a little bit, but you're choosing to step through the doorway. So never, while I really appreciate the compliments and the work that I'm doing, but I don't want to take the credit for the work that you're doing. And so if you're feeling shifts in your world, it's because you're doing the work. Janet says, I think I'm out of the pattern, but then I see I'm not. I have been successful in a total overhaul yet. Yeah, so here's part of that too. So be careful of how you tell that story. And you can tell it however you want to, but what I've noticed in my journey is that, and it's so funny because as a healer, I was like, I'm going to fix this. You know, in the beginning of my journey, I'm going to fix this. These things that I don't like about me, these things that are in my way, I'm going to fix this. But then I would see that, like, I would do, you know, I'd fix it, and I say it in, you know, air quotes, I'd fix it to a point where I thought it was fixed. And then I'd go, cool, I'd feel really good. And I'd see my life changing, and I'd step into more of that power. And then I'd do something even bigger. And guess what came back? The pattern. Do you want to know why? Because of fear. So it's our go-to. It's a pattern, but it lives in an archetype of us, right? We have, you know, we have these archetypes, these personality types. Jung talks about it. Carolyn Mace talks about it. Robert Ahato talks about these archetypes and their personalities, and their things that we learn. We learn everything about our tribal beliefs between 0 and 8. And what gets included in that is any childhood trauma, how you received punishment from or correction from the adults around you. So Heather says, it feels like a swinging back and forth till I get to the center. And the center changes because I'm changing and growing. Absolutely. That's why it has to be 3-dimensional. So everything, when we talk about the metaphors, right, it's kind of linear, but energy is not linear. Energy is fractal, and it's multidimensional, as we are multidimensional. So we have to be able to talk about it from a both and. So when we have a problem that we want to solve, we think if we do this, and this, then everything should change, and it should change in a linear way. And it doesn't happen that way. It's something moves over here, I step over here, something moves over here, I take more space up, I take more space up over here. And that's what we're doing, is as our restriction patterns open, as our patterns open, I would call that a restriction, because it's a restriction on how you're moving through the world and how you're creating through the world. So you're restricted in your movement. It comes into our bodies. Our bodies form restriction, and for good reason. There's a functional reason why we have restrictive patterns. But then if it's not serving us anymore, that pattern of restriction, it holds us in how we want to move. So if you're a runner, your body is going to form to the action of running, right? But then let's say you want to stop running, and you want to go to bike riding, well, you're going to have to build up those restriction patterns. Some are going to have to change. You may start feeling like, gosh, ever since I started riding my bike, my left hip started hurting, you know? So it's your restriction pattern. So that's in the physical matter part of it. So that's just a little bit of insight into the fascial web and how the web remembers everything. We call it muscle memory, but it's not. It's fascia. Fascia is the scaffolding, the inner web of that's a conduit of light to every cell in your body, every molecule. So Julia says, synchronicity, reading the convoluted universe. It struck home how these earth shifts our thoughts and creating our actions. Yes, it opens up a gateway. Heather says, I can feel the life in it, the multidimensional energy of the flow. Yes. Yeah. So just allow yourself to receive this transmission that's coming through, because I opened myself as a conduit to allow this energy that has information in it to land with you, to hopefully open something up for you. So, so I kind of got off my track a little bit talking about fascia. It's something I love. So I love doing body work. I love opening the body so that more light can come through, so that you can have access to more light. You can do this through yoga, but it needs to be like a sustained pressure, and you need to know like where your restriction patterns are. So it really is helpful to have someone help you with that. So we are moving into, we asked what my pattern is. I think we did that. What is my pattern? What is my pattern that I would like to create more space? So it's not get rid of. What pattern needs more space for me to bring more light in to create what I'm here to create in the world? So there's a sacred truth, all is one. But we're living in separation, right? A mindset of separation. That what I do has no impact, it doesn't matter until it does, right? So I'm looking at the painting behind me, and what that is divine light coming in to her, and her prayer is those spirals that she's sending out, creative sparks. And that's what we do with our thoughts, with our actions, with our words. We're sending out spirals that affect the whole. And when we know this, we really want to become a lot more conscious of what we're creating. And so the way we do that is we go in to see where we are falling off with ourself, with the relationship with ourself. So we need to see ourselves separate as self from the whole, so we can get to learn about ourselves. Who are we? Why are we here? Who are we? Who am I? Why am I here? That's our major question, right? It's the big life question. It's a big one, right? And then it's like, who am I in relation to my family? Who am I in relation to my tribe, my ancestors, my lineage? Who am I in relation to my country? Who am I in relation to the world, right? But some of us don't even get as broad as the world or the universe, right? But we're starting to get there, because we're starting to understand that in order to create now, we need to be creating from a place of higher mind. And higher mind has in it the opposite of separation. It's inclusive, it's unified, it's cooperative, it's loving, it's supportive, it's creative. And so we need to look for that in ourselves. Okay, so who's ready, finally, to create the ground? And I'm going to shift my cameras, and just give me a thumbs up if you're ready. If you need to go get your things, go get your things. Okay, Julia is ready. I'm just going to shift to my overhead camera. Bonnie's ready. Awesome. So if you're using black paper, want you just to place your hands, connect with your paper. Awesome, you guys are ready. Awesome, thank you for letting me know that. Really appreciate that. Oh, Alan, it's fine. And I did get your email. It's not necessary to tell me that, but I really appreciate you letting me know what's happening. So, and thank you so much for being here with us. You definitely create part of a cohesive field here. Ready? Awesome. So what I'm going to do too, as we're doing this, let's connect in. And Alan, thank you for actually reminding me about that. Because it was when you said that, and then I said how you're part of this creative field. I remembered I didn't connect us. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect in with ourselves. We're going to connect in with ourselves. And so you do that by feeling your body, feeling the breath, feeling your life, the life in this body, the movement. And you could even move your body. Wiggle your fingers. If you're standing, I'm standing, so I'm kind of swaying back and forth, and yeah, just feeling my wholeness, my aliveness, the movement of all parts of me moving as a whole. Breathing in and out, bringing in the gratitude for this moment, for this ability to be connected with each other in this moment of creation. And if you have your black gesso or black paint, put it in your left hand, put your right hand over it and just connect with it. We're just bringing it along with us. So feeling your presence in the here and now, feeling the ground underneath you, feeling the ground under you, and dropping your roots into the earth and letting this be like something that's always here. Your roots are always here. And when you now pay attention to your connection to the earth, you're just going to naturally see that you're already rooted. You're going to feel the earth energy rising, holding you, supporting you, sustaining you, giving you life force energy that comes up your roots and up through your feet and up through your legs and into your root chakra. And we're going to meet that energy there. And we're going to meet ourselves in our root, which is located right at our tailbone, right between our legs. And just allow your body to adjust as you're coming more and more into the awareness of the space within you. Notice if you have a hard time getting there or an easy time getting there. And what I want you to do is not worry about it. Easier said than done, but let it be part of a process. It's just you're noticing. We don't want to be judging. We don't want to be making it right or wrong. It just is. It's information. Information. And so noticing what's there for you. And maybe you don't know, but see it as fertile soil. Feel the room or the lack of room. Feel the restriction. If you've had trauma related to the chakra, just suspend it for now. Just let it sit on the sidelines for a moment. And while you're connected to that root, you're feeling the connection of Pachamama, come to your heart. Two, bring your heart on board. Bring your will on board, your power, your strength. And now opening your crown and receiving in a shaft of light from above. Divine grace, divine light, divine love. To be present with you as you dive into your roots, to open up space. And let now be the place where you set the intention. Whatever's in your heart, whether you can voice it or not, just allow yourself to feel it and let it be a felt sense intention. And maybe the words will come, and maybe that can be the intention, that this feeling, this longing, this desire, this thing that I really feel a lot of heat on, a lot of energy on, that I just can't put into words yet. Allow me to find the words. Allow me to find the words. Allow me to find the way to express it. Bringing the light in, illuminating and raising the vibration of this heart space. And bringing that light down with the power of your will into your root, feeling that root getting activated. Notice if it's comfortable or uncomfortable. Let it just be what it is. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring all of this energy, this way of being, feel how you are being right now from head to toe, front to back, left to right, top to bottom, all of you, all parts, all aspects. And we're just going to infuse the paint, the paper, the water, the brushes, all of your art supplies. So with your right palm, directing the energy to your space, and imagine a beam, a ray of energy coming from your hand and activating and enlivening your space, your creative materials, yourself, raising it up to the vibration of discovery. And whatever intention to be fulfilled that you hold in your heart. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. And if you're using paint, get your brush. I'm going to wet my paper a little bit. If you're using paper, if you want to wet it a little bit, if you want to raise the vibration of your water, and just smoothing on some beautiful black paint, some black gesso to hold the energy of our healing. So we're going to go into healing first. Okay, and so every inch is covered. And then we're going to let that dry. And I'm going to shift my camera back. And then we're going to go into doing some questions. So make sure you have your journals when you're done. And here we go. All right, and here we are. Awesome. Okay, so we got about an hour. Just keeping an eye on the time. And so if you're ready to move on to the next piece, because now that we've created the ground for our creative expression, we want to create the ground within ourselves. We want to till the soil within ourselves. So just let me know when you're ready so I don't leave you in the dust. And while I'm waiting, I'm going to read a little snippet out of this Wolf Pack book from Abby Wambach. So Janet's ready. Heather's ready. Alan's ready. Awesome. Awesome. This is good. This is good. Bonnie's ready. Thank you for letting me know that. Okay, so the call to the Wolf Pack. Claim your power and bring along your full humanity. Clear the way for others to do the same. Because what our families, our companies, and the world needs is nothing more and nothing less than exactly who we are. Who you are is perfect, is enough. And when we go into devaluing ourselves and spending time doing that, we're spending our energy. When we spend time sitting in confusion, we're spending our energy. We're valuing our confusion, our lack, our less than-ness. And we're not creating. Well, we are creating, actually. I'm going to correct myself on that. We are creating. What are we creating? When we spend our creative energy in stories of lack, whatever they may be, personal stories of lack, personal stories of I don't matter, personal stories of I don't deserve, what are we creating? Please put it in the chat. And that actually can go in your journal as well. What am I creating? When I am investing my creative power into my stories of lack, less than, doesn't matter where they came from. Creating disharmony. Disharmony where? Where are you creating disharmony? What's another word for what would be the opposite? So I like disharmony, but what's the opposite of harmony? In your thought patterns, chaos, discordance is another one, discordance and harmony, right? Think about music, discord, dissonance, right? Dissonance. That also goes out into the world, right? It goes out into the world. Personal chaos and collective chaos, you're adding to it. You're creating limits, creating restrictions, you're blocking flow. You're blocking flow. So when you're blocking flow, think about a river. Think about a river and think about flowing something and think about what that interrupts when you shut down. When you shut down, because of limits. So by being in your limitation, you're creating more limits. You're creating personal chaos. You're not creating anything that you want. So stay focused on your goal. What do you want? So I want to ask that. What do you want? Fighting with universal energy. Who's going to win that battle? Depends how willful you are, right? What it does, right? It does create a battle. It creates tension. It creates this, it's funny, my hands are doing this, right? It just creates this infinity of despair, right? So one of the things that came through for me while I was really diving into this chakra was when we look out into the world and we look at how our leaders are leading us or not leading us. And we look at how we as a people are not leading ourselves, that we've been taught and we've taken up the understanding that we don't have power, that our power needs to go somewhere else to another entity. And even in healing, we give our power away to the practitioner, to the doctor, to healthcare, to this, to that. When it comes to wanting to transform, we still have that pattern of giving our power away, someone's going to do it for us. Someone's going to come and rescue us, right? but we are the ones we've been waiting for. We're the only ones that can save ourselves if we even feel like we need saving. We need loving, and we need to love ourselves. So I was thinking about, well, we lost our faith and we lost our trust. Yet, in the midst of that, we all live here right now as one. And we're in chaos. And we're in chaos within ourselves. And so what you want to ask right now is, am I just being a mirror reflecting what is being reflected to me? Or am I in responsibility with myself for what I create in the world? And so you may not have answers to these questions, but as I've said before, I love questions. Questions open up space. It gets us thinking. And maybe there isn't a one word answer to that. Maybe it makes us scratch our head a little bit, or maybe it starts a journey in to seek that answer for yourself, to heal whatever it is that you have been investing your light, your creative power into places that create things like personal chaos and limits and chaos, disharmony, that kind of stuff, fighting, battling. Because when you battle universal energy, you battle yourself, because you are that. You are that. So when do we want, and you can answer this if you want to, when do you want, when will you be ready to lay the gloves down, to stop fighting? What are you fighting for anyway? What are you fighting for? Sometimes we do need to make a stand, right? But we need to make a stand for ourselves. When you stand for yourself, it's truth, and you have faith in yourself, and you have love for yourself, and you have trust for yourself. The rest is just a pattern. It's a pattern where you do one thing, you do everything. But we make it scary because we think about out there. We think about out there. Right now, we want to just think about in here. Because if we can do it in here, and we can do it in here successfully, it becomes a natural occurrence. We just won't stand for it, right? We just won't stand for it. And we're seeing things this week that we don't want to stand for anymore. Alan says, fighting to be seen by the world for who I really am. So Alan, do you see yourself for who you really are? And why is it, and ask this question, and you don't have to answer it here, but it's just a great question, is what's in it for you to be seen for who you really are? What are you going to gain by being seen for who you really are? So you could ask it like this: if I am seen for who I really am, then what will happen? And if other people can relate to that too, put that in your journal as a question. So I looked up faith, and I looked up trust. And it's really funny because it circled me back. Yeah, so Alan, just let it be a open-ended question for yourself. Because it's really interesting that you say that. We want to be noticed, but are we noticing ourselves? Do you see the greatness in you? Not just you, Alan, but everyone here. Do you, when you look at yourself, do you see greatness? And anyone who's brave out there, if you want to answer that question, pop it in, I'm curious. So faith, the definition of faith is complete trust or confidence in someone or something. Do I have faith in me? By that definition, do I have faith in me? Write that down. Trust, definition of trust, Reliance on the integrity, strength, ability, surety of a person or thing, confidence. Do I trust myself? Do I trust myself? All right, Heather, love it. The greatness is in you. You are great. You're all great. We're all great. If we were told that as kids, oh my gosh, imagine what we'd be creating right now instead of more misery for ourselves. It's really sad that we weren't taught that. I trust myself, but not the universe. Ooh, I don't know about that. I hear if I were working with you on a one-to-one, I would challenge that as a coach. I would challenge that, because if you trust yourself, then, and everybody knows this one, right? So what is it? Well, it's funny because it's like, is the universe letting you down, or have you just not formed a relationship with the universe as it is? Are you working in a make-believe version of what the universe is supposed to do? Is the universe your definition of it like a father that gives you something when you ask for it, and because you're not getting what you're asking for, you can't trust it? Or is it a relationship where you get met and you meet, and there's an action that you do and there's an action that the universe does? Because the world doesn't work that way. Things don't get handed to us magically. It can happen, but you have to set the relationship with it, right? And trust is part of that. Faith is part of that. Integrity is a big part of that, right? Do you remember what I read in the beginning? I'm gonna find it again. Where did I put that book? Okay, here it is. Okay, so the only thing that can restrict life is the channel through which it works. The only limitation upon it is the limitation you put upon it. The moment you stop expressing more and more of your life, and I just added that in, the moment life starts looking around for other better outlets. So if you are not trusting yourself, you are putting out into the universe, don't give it to me because I can't be trusted. If you do trust yourself, if you truly do trust yourself, you are inviting the universe in to work with you, which means there's going to be stuff that you get to do, not need to do, you get to do, because you're doing it on your own behalf. You are, it's like God helps those that help themselves. That's what that means, right? It's not sitting back and waiting for things to show up before you move. Trust, the walk of trust and the walk of faith is taking the action into a place you've not yet been, that you've not yet seen, and having the faith to know it's going to be there for you. Or, in better words, that you are going to create it with the universe. Do you get that, what I just said? Julia, I've been told by a couple of mediums I need to trust in the universe. I think it's surrendering control to the greater good or force. It's surrendering you. You need to surrender. Mediums are great, but you have this information within you. What is true for you? If you trust yourself, do you need a medium to tell you what things are? What do you really need? It's a relationship that you have with the universe. You either have it or you do not have it. It can't be a halfway thing. And in the definition of trust is the word integrity. And we talked about integrity last time. We build trust for ourselves when we do what we say we're going to do. Pat says, my opinions and feelings are constantly changing, flip-flopping. I don't know that I can trust myself at any one moment. And Julie says, perhaps I'm confused. Good, be in the confusion, because when you're in confusion, a belief is changing. This is welcome. This is chaos. We need actually to create harmony, we need to have chaos. We live in a world, a universe that has polarities, right? And it's not about creating the middle point. It's about being able to be in the gray scale between all of them, because there's no linear rule to it. So we're balancing, harmonizing in the moment. And in order to have harm, if we didn't have discourse or dissonance, we wouldn't know what harmony was, right? So flip-flopping and changing is okay because that's also transformative, right? We don't, once we grab onto something, right, a thought or idea, and we say, this is just the way it is, right? It's not tried and true, but it's true for me because when I do X, Y, and Z happen, and that's my formula, and I'm sticking to it, right? Then you start to create yourself in a box. Heather says, love it. I co-create with the universe. Yes. It isn't a parent relationship. This trust piece is my blind spot. I have and had lost trust in myself, have been blaming dear heart that I am. Dear heart that I am. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad you got that. That aha is really important. We are in responsibility, right? It is not a parent relationship. Look, I love, Heather, how you put that. It's not a parent relationship. We have the power. We're done being kids, right? We're grown-ups. We're grown-ups. So we want to grow up that part of ourselves. So I'm checking my paper to see if we're ready to go on to the next level, because we're going to do one more layer and then hopefully we'll do another layer. So I love teaching in layers. I love teaching in layers. I love creating art in layers. It's a process, not a one and done. So if you're learning art, we tend to want to, we're object oriented. We want to get that object on the canvas right away, right? But when you're working in layers, there's a process that happens, right? There's a blocking in process. There's like, oh, I know what I'm going to create, and I know it wants to be placed here. There's a design process, right? So just like creating on paper or canvas or any other structure, there's a process to it, right? It doesn't just come out, you know, I put paint here and then it's unidimensional. What we want to do is we want to build dimension, because we are multidimensional. So because of that, we work in layers as well. Okay. So I'm gonna see, I like wrote all these notes when I was doing this. So see if I can kind of come back to this. So integrity is about the state of being whole, entire, undiminished, and soundness of moral character and honest, right? So when we can trust ourselves, we've proven it to ourselves that we can stick to something, right? And that doesn't mean, right? So I love using dieting because everyone can kind of relate to dieting. Maybe not everyone here, maybe people don't need to be on diets, but I think everyone has either started an exercise program or started some sort of diet, you know, where they felt they needed to do some sort of physical change. Well, you don't just have one meal that's healthy and then go back to eating junk, right? It becomes a practice. You have to practice eating right. And what often happens with us, right? We lose the weight that we wanted to lose, or we become strong like we wanted to become, or we solve whatever it is that we wanted. And then we go back to our old ways of being, right? And it needs to be a life change, right? So we have to be able to forgive ourselves for falling back. And it's really funny because I'm human too. I do this too. And I always ask myself, and maybe this will be something that you could ask yourself, is when I think about the person I am becoming, and what I want you to do is close your eyes and think about the person you're becoming, because we're always becoming. We're always growing, we're always transforming, whether you're purposefully creating it, it's just happening. It's just happening. So when I think about the person I'm becoming and the person I long to be, the person I long to be, who is the person you long to be, first of all? The woman that is creating meaningful paintings that are hanging in a gallery. The man that is expressing himself fully in the world and allowing people to see him. Just feel into what you're bringing into the world, and you become the person that does that. And so feel that person out in your dreaming. So we're in the dreaming portion now, the person that you are becoming that creates that situation, that experience for yourself. And seeing where you are right now, who do I get to become to be that person that has completed all of these things that I'm longing to create? What is my action? Who do I get to be? So write that down, and don't, if you have an answer for it, beautiful, write it down. If you don't, leave it sit. We're going to come back to it. Who do I get to be? That's what I'm going to bring us back to. Right now, what we're going to go into is, where did I lose my trust for myself? Where did I lose faith in myself? And it's funny, it's like, feel the disappointment on that. Feel the disappointment. The disappointment is going to be the doorway. So I'm going to shift to the overhead camera. Is everyone, before I do that, is everyone ready to move to the next part? Is your paint dry? Mine is dry. It's a little, the paint is dry, but there's a little wetness on the paper. So just be careful. Heather's ready. Awesome. 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 You guys are ready. I love it. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect. We're going to use colored pencil first, and then we'll do paint last. If you don't want to do it that way, do what you feel guided to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into where I lost my faith, where I lost my trust, and maybe you never had it. And maybe what your pathway is growing it for yourself. So it could be that way too. I think for me, that is what it is for me, is I actually learned not to trust myself. So it wasn't, I feel like if I go back and I'm journeying back to it, I don't know if I consciously had an ability to trust myself. And it certainly wasn't something that was nurtured in my family, trust for yourself. And when I look at the adults in my life, I don't see it modeled for me. And I don't see faith in myself. And I don't see faith in myself modeled for me. So for my path has been one of opening up to myself with trust, trusting myself, learning to trust myself, learning what trust is, learning what faith in myself is, seeing my integrity. When I see that I have follow through, when I see that I do what I say I'm going to do, it puts a check mark in the column of trust and faith. I believe in myself. And so what we want to do, and so we don't want to say that because we're doing this, it means you don't, because I think all of us could agree that we can find trust for ourselves in certain situations and at certain times. And we can find faith for ourselves in certain situations and in certain times, right? So think about that thing that you do, like just even driving a car. I trust when I get behind the wheel of a car that I can get myself from A to B without having an accident, because I have integrity in that, right? I have a good track record, right? I'm not reckless. So we want to see that we do have faith in ourselves in some places, and that we do have trust for ourselves in some places, and we have integrity. So it's not black and white here, right? So we want to go to the spot within ourselves, within our root, within our past, where we don't have trust. And this might be the thing that what we're trying to create out in the world, that we don't stick to, that we let fall away, that we make not important, or we make other things important. So we want to see this. We want to see the limitations, the other things that we create. So we want to go into disappointment. We want to go into our limitations. We want to go into our feelings of lack. We want to go into the roots with them. So journeying down and down and down through the roots. Seeing the tribalness, going through, asking your ancestors to come in and be like guides to help you find it. Because our ancestors that are on the other side are not in human form anymore. And they know what it's like to be human. And they have a different perspective. And so feeling the activation now of the energy, letting your expression not come from a place of linear, but allowing it to be an opening where we're putting light into it. So the paper, the dark paper, is the metaphor for the shadow of where this is stored. This restriction is, no light is getting to it. It's just a restriction. No light is getting to it. And we're going to come in as integrity, power, and light. And we're going to begin to see those aspects of ourselves, these really awesome expressions of us that got hidden or not expressed yet, not yet expressed. So they could be like seeds laying dormant. And I want you to see those dormant seeds, and I want you to bring water and light. The light of trust, the water of faith, and allowing those seeds to start their process of growth, growing, rooting, forming leaves, sprouting. And as you see that creating space, you are cultivating the ground for this to grow out of this darkness, this dormancy, waking it up, feeling it in your body, feeling it in your roots, feeling the life buzzing, creative life force energy buzzing to move through you. Feeling that energy moving through your pelvis, through your legs, through your feet, and up your spine, into your heart, and out your hands and onto the paper, and letting this paper be the representation of what you're feeling opening for you right now. And when you're ready, opening your eyes, getting some color, grab as many different colors as you like, whatever is grabbing your attention. If you had a predominant color as you were meditating, allow that. And I want you to, if you can, move your body. Move your body, move your body, move your arms, move your legs, get that energy moving and flowing through you. And without thinking, just move, don't touch the paper yet. Move your hands, and just allow your body to express. whatever comes out is just authentically you. Don't try to draw an image yet. Just allow expression, movement, letting your body move. Just hold the pencil, hold the paintbrush, whatever you're using. Let a creative explosion. Use 2 hands. I'm using all 4 colors. I've got different lengths of pencil, but just fill the space, move, be dynamic, be multidimensional, weave. Let me grab another color, this pink to work. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, I'm going to give you another minute and then we're going to come back. Just let me know when you're set there. Okay, and I'm gonna, whoop, wrong way. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so who's ready to move on? And we're doing these quick expressions because that's what it should be. It should be an expression, not, moving the fine motor skills of your hand to make a drawing of something. We want to just be expressing. That's the difference between creating an image and expressing. So I like to say it's not art, it's expression. We're expressing ourselves. Awesome. So let me ask you, what are you discovering? What are you discovering? What are you noticing? So where our attention goes, our energy flows, right? A little joy and movement, awesome. So cool, you're changing your state of being. You're changing your state of being. So you're changing your expression in the world. You're changing your energy that goes out into the world. And so it's about maintaining that. It's about maintaining the joy. Maintaining the joy and creating from joy. Expansive freedom. Awesome, Bonnie, thank you. You're freeing it up. You don't have to spend time in it, wallowing in it to heal it. Those days are done. Confirmation that my ideas are good. Awesome. Expansiveness. Awesome. Awesome. So we can create expansiveness from a restricted place. How powerful are you? Amazing. So where attention goes, our energy goes, right? That's a law of the universe, right? A universal law. So what we're putting our focus on, we get more of, right? So when we get into those spaces, and we all have them, and remember that there's a flow pattern to growth, and I'm doing this, right? It's a sine wave. You'll feel like this upswing, and Ginger's feeling late, and a downswing. And then we need to be at this point too, to be able to have this point, right? Polarity, right? So it's, what are you going to do when you're down here? That's the question. It's not, you can't try to get out of it. That's what we try to do. But what am I going to do when I'm in this period? And this could be a rest period, right? And so those of us who have given birth know that when we give birth, the body just doesn't go like, one push and out comes the baby. Some people may have had that. Some babies come really fast, right? But before that happened, the body prepares itself for that to happen, for that push to happen, and it undulates, right? It undulates, it moves the baby down the birth canal, right? Where then you get to co-create with your body right? If you're knowing to work with your body and not against your body, because if we're taught to fight, we're going to do that there, right? And we're going to have a difficult birth, right? And then we start to push. And when we push with the contraction. And then when that ends, that momentum ends, we rest. And so what do you do in the rest? Do you go like, come on, I want that next contraction? Or do you just let yourself rest? And so just because, you know, we're not maybe physically efforting, you know, to get this thing done, and it's creative and it's more fun, doesn't mean that we're not going to want to push against it, right? So where are you creating that in your life? And can you come to a place of peace, right? And lightness and expansiveness, even down here, knowing that this is going to happen, right? Even down here, if down here is chaotic, right? Because of what's going on outside of us. We're not isolated from things that are happening, but it's also not, it's not what's out there that's creating what's in here. This is where we have autonomy and we have choice. So you can wake up in the morning and you can feel the weight of the world, right? Empathic people feel that, right? But to balance that and harmonize that for yourself, it's consciousness, right? Okay, it's information. That's all it is. You're feeling the information and it's coming into you and it's speaking through your emotional system. And it's just information. It's when we take it personal and we make it ours and we start to carry it, that it becomes a dysfunction, and the skill of empathy, the gift of empathy, becomes a burden and we become victims of it. But when we understand how it's just information, right? And I am a processor of information. I feel everything, but not everything is about me, right? That is where I can make my choice, right? Is this something I need to take a look at for myself? Is it information that I get to have as I create my day? But I don't need to carry it. Do I need to carry it? No, I don't need to carry it. And neither do you. So it's all a choice. That's why spiritual practice is really awesome, right? Having an altar, visiting it, doing these things, plugging into your spirituality, plugging into the unseen before plugging into this, what's going on in this world. It's like, that's what we get to do that, right? We get to shift it for ourselves. We get to shift it. We get to create our day in spite of, we get to create our dreams in spite of what is being created in the world outside of us, because this is the key right here. If you can get this, the way you change it on the bigger scale is to change it in here first. And we all say that this is the work. And so I'm going to talk about the temple, because all of you know, if you've been joining me every week, you know that I'm starting a new temple. And this is the kind of stuff we do in it. We use Hermetic law. We use sacred geometry. We use the building of a temple based on these principles. And we dig within ourselves. We heal, we dream, we create, we get the support. And so if you're creating something in the world, you're being called to it, and you haven't yet been able to do it, Temple's going to help you do that. Temple's going to help you do that. And there's people in there that are doing the same thing that you're doing, moving through the same stuff. And this is the thing, that's the tribe you get to create, the tribe you get to be in, where it's supportive and not tearing you down. It's all the attributes that I read before, right? The temple contains the energy of, if I can find where I wrote that, inclusiveness, unification, cooperation, love, support, and creativity. So this is the last time I'm going to mention this. I'm going to keep mentioning it till middle of June, middle of July. You have many opportunities to jump in. If you fill out an application and hop on a call with me and you go, yep, this is for me. I'm a hell yes for this, because I feel everything within me says yes, because this is the way I'm going to do this. This is the way I get to bring my mission in. This is the way I get to create what I'm here to create. We'll start working right away. And so you'll be working with me for almost a year, getting a leg up. You don't need to wait till July. I'll be giving you bonus sessions. So you'll get a bonus by signing up early. You can start early, start now. I'm a big believer in taking action in the moment. Don't wait, don't sit back. And if you're sitting back and going into analysis, that's just your pattern. It's just a way of being that gets to change. Challenge yourself to do something different. It doesn't cost you anything to hop on a call with me. It doesn't cost you anything to fill out an application and find out more. There's a really good reason why I do it the way I do it. I don't put it in my marketing. I don't write blurbs about it. I want to talk to you about it. I want to hear what you are wanting to create in the world. And I want to talk to you about it. And that's why I do this the way I do this. So if you're feeling resistance to this, but you're also feeling the pull, oh, what the heck? Jump in and do it anyway. So from this place now of being motivated, and we're going to go back in, and we're going to go back in with paint. And so I'm going to flip the camera again. And so we're going to do another little quick meditation, because we only have about 14 minutes left. And here we go. All right, so back at this weaving, back at the seed, bringing in expansiveness, bringing in movement, bringing in motion. Now we're going to travel and use our imagination to see possibility. So if your eyes aren't closed, close your eyes, feel your body, come back to your connection, put your hand on your paper. Coming back to the seed, coming back to your root. Seeing that seed really taking root, growing down. And as it grows down, it's illuminating the old pattern, the old root, and it's bringing in new life. It's bringing in new life, new energy, and we're bringing the light from above down through our heart, through all of our chakras, and down in, feeding this beautiful little sprout, this new life that's taking root. We're bathing it in the light from above and coming up into your third eye, feeling the activation of your third eye, and now traveling into a possibility that exists in the field of energy. And allow yourself to see what it is that you are wanting to create in the world. Whatever that desire, that longing is, regardless of whether you've been trying to do this for years, regardless if you have fear, see yourself as having completed it. You're standing in the midst of this amazing creation and feeling how you feel that you did it. Oh my God, you did it with all that it took, with all of yourself, with all of your light, with all of support, with love, with cooperation, with friends, with help. But you were the one. You were the one that kept showing up. You were the one that fell down and made mistakes and kept coming back. You were the one that gave up and got mad and beat yourself up. And you were the one that stopped it and redirected yourself and brought you back. And here you are in celebration with yourself, with your family, with your tribe, with your support system, those who support you, those you know you can rely on, those you trust. And see who you are being in this moment. Just see who you're being. Confident, fulfilled, leader, tall, strong, loving, nurtured. See all of that, and anything else that comes in for you, see all of that. And keep bringing this energy. Feel how close it is to you. Feel the energy of this and feel how close it is to you, and start letting it come into your body, letting yourself embody it. Be that person right now. Be that person right now. Bring that into your root. Let this person speak for you now. Be you. You be this person. Let this seedling that starts today get this light, get this energy, become the new pattern, the new root system, the vehicle for the expression of that future, that possibility, that destination. Make yourself, create yourself, manifest yourself, and do it now. And with the little bit of time we have left, allow yourself to grab some color, grab some paint, and however you choose to express. I'm gonna actually use some water and spray down what I've put on before, the seed, watering the seed. And now I'm gonna place the new paradigm, my new way of being. Bold. I get to be bold. I get to be bold, and I get to be loving to myself and to others. I get to be bold. I get to be loving. I get to be confident. And confidence is blue. I get to be all that. I get to be the light. I get to be the light that goes out into the world, that supports others to be the light, to be the power, to be who they really are, and nothing less. And I get to focus out. From a place of power, sharing what comes through me out into the world so that everyone can find their truest expression of themselves. Without limitation, without boundaries, without hesitation. It's starting to look like splatter art. Okay, so we're nearing the end. We have about 5 minutes left. I'm going to come back on. So talk to me. There's 9 of you, 8 of you left. Someone just popped off. Let me know how you're doing. We're going to be saying goodbye. We're going to be closing the circle. If you have any questions or any last thoughts, please pop them into the chat. I'll give you a minute to do that before we close the circle. Feels amazing. Awesome, Ginger. Keep it going. Keep it going. This is a gift. This is a gift. And if you let yourself receive it, become responsible for growing it. Take the next steps that feel right to you. Let yourself grow bigger in the world and become the light. Okay, so closing your eyes, we're going to close our circle. You don't have the right paints. Well, what you have is just going to be perfect right now. Wonderful new ground. Awesome, Heather. Awesome. Awesome. Don't be limited by what you have and what you don't have. You're welcome, Ellen, for the inspiration. Thank you for being here and being part of this field of growth. And closing your eyes now, in closing, feeling your connection to the circle, thanking the universe, thanking great mystery, thanking great spirit, thanking your higher power, however you define that, thanking your guides. The guides of the Cosmic Dreaming Lodge that are here present with us now, holding the space for us. May you have courage. May you express it. May you have faith. May you express it. May you have trust. May you express it. And may you receive what you express in the world. Taking a step back with so much love and so much gratitude. And I will see you again this Wednesday in the Conscious Creativity Circle for the Creative Wave, and then on May 20th, when we will be diving into creating the Divine Portal. So that's the next one. So thank you for joining me, and I will see you in the ethers. Bye for now.